What's going on, everyone? Gormy here. Today we are going over the top 10 saves for you guys to try out come FM23 or even right now with the updated databases, because you can basically play FM23 right now with updated databases. But today we're getting into clubs that are fallen giants or teams on the rise, some teams that just need a little bit of help to get to that next level. You guys are going to love these saves, so if you guys enjoy today's video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as subscribing is 100% free, so why not hit that sub button. Without further ado, let's get into the first club. Coming in at number 10 is Portsmouth. So Portsmouth are a pretty historic club. They used to play in the Premier League when I was pretty young. That is when they were in the Premier League, the last time that I remember they were. And as you guys can see the league history here right above me, the last time they were in the Premier League was in the 2009-2010 season. And they just really fell off. They fell all the way down into League Two. They had to deal with point deductions and financial problems, but they are on the rise again, but they are kind of stuck now within League One. So it is your job to take this once historic club back to the promised land of the Premier League. And I mean, this club definitely has what it takes. They've got some solid players as well. Plus, absolutely love Fratton Park. It's a beautiful stadium. I'll put a photo up right now of it. And I mean, the fans at Portsmouth definitely deserve a winner once again. Now, facility-wise, it's not absolutely phenomenal. You do have great training facilities for the first team, but you do have average youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, and adequate youth recruitment. So definitely some areas you're going to have to improve on and throughout the promotions, and getting some money from, say, FA Cup, Papa John's Trophy, Carabao Cup. You'll definitely get the finances to help improve the training infrastructure and facility infrastructure of the club, because once you're able to do that, you are definitely going to be able to hit the ground running and fly up the leagues, fly up league tables like no tomorrow. Coming in at number 9, AFC Wimbledon. Now, this is a club that you could say is a rags to riches type club. They have started way down within the leagues in the English football pyramid, but have worked their way up all the way to League One, but just recently suffered relegation. So back down to League Two they go. But with the right guidance, they can definitely bounce back up to League One and possibly even push for promotion to the Sky Bet Championship. Now, this is a club that definitely will need some work, especially facility-wise. But unlike Portsmouth, this club will actually have a transfer budget right now within FM22, and most likely a bigger transfer budget than Portsmouth come FM23. When I was talking about those facilities, you're definitely going to need to invest in the facilities, but don't do it too early on, because you are really going to feel the financial impact of doing it early on, because they have below average training facilities, below average youth facilities, average academy coaching, and fairly basic youth recruitment. So this is a club that definitely needs some work, but I mean, you're going to have plenty of time to be able to kind of lay your own foundation with the club, and they've only been up to Sky Bet League One, so you can definitely forge your own dynasty here at AFC Wimbledon. Next up at number 8, we have Oldham Athletic. So Oldham Athletic now find themselves in the Vanarama Nationals, so they have definitely regressed instead of progressed in recent years. They aren't in the best shape to really, I mean, they'll definitely be one of those teams that'll be pushing for promotion with you at the helm and in reality, but being that there are very few promotion spots within the Vanarama National, it's going to be pretty difficult. The Vanarama National is not an easy league. Plus, with being in the Vanarama National, it will be slightly more difficult to draw in players to this club. But this is a club with some decent history. They haven't really been one of those clubs that just goes on unbelievable cup runs and can really, become a giant within English football, but that is your job when taking over Oldham Athletic. Get them back into the professional leagues, get them back to Sky Bet League 2, make sure that you have a foundation financially to make the club sustainable financially, and then push on for promotion again and again until you reach the heights of the Premier League. Now, facility-wise, you're going to have average training facilities, basic youth facilities, average academy coaching, and adequate recruitment. So another club that you're definitely going to have to improve upon with facilities. Make sure that you do it a little bit later on once you have the money. Say Skybet League 1, maybe invest into one of them so that you can kind of start building a foundation there. But this is a club that definitely deserves a winner. Coming in at number 7, Wigan Athletic. Wigan Athletic, once a Premier League club, fell down to Skybet League 1, but have just recently gotten promotion back up to the Skybet Championship. Now, the challenge with this club is that you aren't going to have a whole lot of financial muscle to pull off staying up in the championship and then trying to push for promotion to the Premier League. So loans and free signings are going to be your best friend with this club early days. Now, if you can have a decent cup run in the FA Cup or Carabao Cup, maybe get yourself to a quarterfinal on one of them, push your luck, maybe get to a semifinal, get some money, then you can definitely bring in some bigger type players to help you push for promotion to the Premier League, where this club definitely belongs. Now, unlike the previous clubs that I have mentioned, they actually have some pretty decent facilities. They have great training facilities, good youth facilities, average academy coaching, and adequate youth recruitment. So academy coaching, youth recruitment definitely can improve there, but great training facilities, good youth facilities, that is phenomenal for development for your players, especially your young players that are going to be coming through the club. And if you can bring in some big time young talents from Premier League sides to help you survive within the championship and then maybe push for a promotion playoff spot at least, the training facilities are definitely going to be a big sell for your club and to be able to bring in those younger players. So Wigan Athletic, definitely a club that I would for sure give a go come FM23, because they will probably have a little bit of a budget, probably around £100,000-200,000 to spend to bring in some needed depth at the club. So definitely give Wigan Athletic a go come FM23. Coming in at number 6 is the first Premier League club today, Leicester City. So Leicester City, the Foxes, once Premier League champions, once the David taking down Goliath, it was absolutely phenomenal, but they haven't been able to reach those heights recently. Yes, they continue to compete within Europe, which is great, but they need to be able to prove themselves as a Champions League level contender. And they definitely, I don't think, can do it under Brendan Rodgers. So maybe under your tutelage, they definitely could pull it off, especially if you can keep hold of a player like Yuri Tielemans and build around him, and the star man Wesley Fofana in defense. If you can keep a hold of him and Yuri Tielemans, build around them, have them be your foundation, you are not only going to be able to bring in some solid players to go alongside them, but you will get top 4 finishes. You will get some decent FA Cup runs like they have had recently in reality. Maybe bring them back to the promised land of winning the Premier League once again like they did a couple years ago, but try and get them to be major competitors within the Champions League. And even if you finish third in your group stage, try and win a Europa League with Leicester City. Try and get some continental competition silverware for Leicester City. Try and just get more silverware in general for this great club. And what is great about this club is that they have state-of-the-art training facilities, state-of-the-art youth facilities. So your development with your young players and players in general is going to be absolutely phenomenal. They only have adequate academy coaching, so maybe improve there, but good youth recruitment, so you might get a wonder kid or two coming through your youth setup, which would be very, very nice to have. Coming in at number 5, Knox County. The fierce rival of Nottingham Forest finds themselves all the way down in the Vanarama National with a 20,000-seater stadium almost. The good thing about this club is that they do have a pretty solid chance of being promoted pretty soon. especially being that in FM21 they had a pretty decent transfer budget. FM22 currently still have a pretty decent transfer budget, as you can see on my screen right now, around £500,000. And come FM23, it will probably continue that way because they are trying to get back to professional football. And this is a club that has some pretty decent players at it, especially this man I'm about to name. Mr. Ruben Rodriguez is going to be your key player here. If you can keep a hold of him, great, but a majority of the time he does end up leaving the club. But if you can keep a hold of him, build around this kid. Use him as a shadow striker. Use him off the wing. Use him in central midfield as a center midfielder on attack. This is a kid that you need to make sure that you hold onto no matter what. Pay him the biggest wage in the club if you need to. He is well worth it. And being that we are back down to the Vanarama National, training facilities aren't going to be anything like they were just at Leicester City. They have average training facilities, basic youth facilities, average academy coaching, and adequate recruitment. So as you go up the leagues, use some money, upgrade these facilities, use the money to invest in players as well. Try and use loans and free signings to take Knox County to the promised land where Nottingham Forest currently find themselves, because right now there is a river that splits two stadiums apart from each other. One is Premier League, one is Vanarama National. Try and get Knox County to that Premier League level. Coming in at number 4, Bradford City. Now, Bradford City are a club that I have always been intrigued by. They were in the Premier League in 2000-2001, but they got relegated. That was too young for me to remember because I was only like 3 years old then. But they have been kind of bouncing up and down through the leagues. They got relegated from the Championship early 2000s, went down to League One, got relegated from League One to League Two, got back up to League One come the 2012-2013 season, went back down in 2018-19, and find themselves in Sky Bet League Two again. They are a club that definitely can push to get back to the Sky Bet League One level, and hopefully with the right signings could make it up to the Sky Bet Championship as well. But they need a great manager to be able to do that, and I believe you all are the managers to make it happen. Now with this club, they only have adequate training facilities and youth facilities, average academy coaching, fairly basic youth recruitment, but like I've said time and time again, just invest some money into this. You can definitely make it work. What is good about this club is that they have an army for you to be able to use. And one player that I think, actually two players that I think could really help you out early days. One is this young man, no pun intended, Jake Young. He is 19 years old. He is a striker. He can play on either wing as well, or even attacking midfield if need be. And this guy right here, 22 years old, Mr. Ryan East. I had him this year in one of my saves. He was absolutely unbelievable. So hopefully he stays that way come FM23. Definitely make sure that you build around Mr. Young, Mr. Ryan East as well, because they will be two key young figures within this Bradford City side. Coming in at number 3 is the Moneyball Kings, Brentford. Brentford pulled off what some may say the impossible last season in being able to stay up comfortably as well, being the club that won promotion through the playoffs. And the other two clubs, being Norwich and Watford, went down and they had no chance of staying up. But Brentford proved everybody wrong, and I believe they will once again this season in reality, and hopefully under your management can once again. Now, this is a save that I personally would try and stick to the values that the club has. They play Moneyball. They find value where others do not see it. They try and bring in free transfers, try and bring in players that clubs no longer want, but they see could really help out their club, and sign young talents for cheap as well. One of those young talents is this young Ukrainian kid right here that they signed from Dnipro. His name, I believe it is pronounced Yehor Yermoliuk. He is a young central midfielder, can also play as an attacking midfielder, who has some pretty nice attributes already at 17 years of age. This is a kid who already has 13 passing. He's got 13 vision, 18 work rate, 15 off the ball, 15 determination and flair. For some reason, he is unbelievable at long shots with 16 long shots. He's got some okay dribbling and finishing as well. So if you want to play him in that attacking midfield role, definitely can pull it off for you. And he's got 15 natural fitness already at 17 years of age. Another young player that I absolutely love this signing is Mikel Damsgaard from Sampdoria. This kid can play any attacking position that you may need him to play. He's got 15 acceleration, 14 pace, is good with either foot, just like the Ukrainian kid is. 16 technique, 16 vision, 15 off the ball. I mean, this kid is absolutely phenomenal, and they didn't have to spend a whole hell of a lot to get a player like this for themselves, and that is what I mean. You find players like this, try and build the Brentford way, and you are going to have the time of your life with this save. Plus, you get to use the talisman, Mr. Ivan Toney, who just scores goals for fun, which is always a great thing to have with a club. Now, getting into their facilities, they have a unique situation. They have average training facilities, below average youth facilities, no academy coaching, no youth recruitment. The reason being is because they do not have a U18s team. They kind of have a U23s, but they have a B team. And basically what they do is the players that kind of get released from, say, the Man Cities, Man Uniteds, Arsenals, they bring in those players, give them trial runs, see, okay, do we see this player potentially either helping us in the cash flow or in the first team eventually? And they kind of build their youth system that way. It's a very unique way of doing it, especially within the English football pyramid. So Brentford, definitely one of those saves that is very unique from the get-go. Coming in at number 2, it's Sunderland. Sunderland, aka the Black Cats, haven't had the best of times recently. They kind of were up and down early 2000s with promotion relegation. Then they got relegated in 2016-17, went all the way down to League One, and just got back to the Sky Bet Championship because they have gone through a whole load of owners that kind of had different visions on what they wanted to do with this club, and they really weren't ever able to pull it off until this new regime there. And I'm definitely confident in the new regime that they have installed at Sunderland, because I mean, they're going to have to rival Newcastle. They are going to have to try and be the noisy neighbors that don't have the money that Newcastle now have. And being that this club has some pretty loyal players like Mr. Aiden McGeady, who has stuck with them through everything, they definitely have what it takes to get back to the Premier League and hopefully one day be able to challenge Newcastle, maybe not money-wise, but on paper with a solid team. Now, Sunderland have some pretty solid players at your disposal when you take them over. One player, for example, I believe his name is pronounced Dennis Cherkin, young 19-year-old English left back who is a pretty solid player and can make some plays if need be, who has a great work rate already. Mr. Niall Huggins, a Welsh young right back or even left back who is only 20 years old, can definitely improve, but is great with both feet. So that is something phenomenal to have at a championship level. And once touted to be a very good player, Mr. Patrick Roberts. He's still only 24 years of age, but he will be one of the more important players for Sunderland in reality, and if you choose to take over Sunderland come FM23 as well. He's got some pace to him. He is mainly just a left-footed player, but he can definitely play as a inside forward or inverted winger on the right side, or he can also play attacking midfield along with left wing as well. Now, getting to facilities, this is something that Sunderland have always prided themselves on, in having some good facilities so that they can develop their own players. They have superb training facilities, excellent youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, adequate youth recruitment, so there you can definitely improve, but excellent youth facilities, superb training facilities at a club that just got promoted to the championship. So your main goal will be to survive first and foremost, but to be able to have these type of training facilities for your first team and your youth team as well, you're going to be able to develop your players like crazy at Sunderland. Coming in at number 1, it's Darby County. Darby County are probably the most troubled club in England currently. When it comes to finances, they are in the bin right now. They are very, very troubled. And I mean, right now they need a takeover ASAP. But I mean, finding the right suitor, that is the most important part for them in reality right now. In FM, of course, you can get financial takeovers from time to time. So hopefully when you take over Darby County, you get a decent financial takeover. But, I mean, they are having to completely just strip down the entire squad all the way down through the youth system, strip it down for parts, try and figure out, okay, how are we going to be able to field a team come this season? And with zero budget to be able to use come FM23 and right now in FM22, this is what you have to work with when it comes to your first team squad. You don't have a whole heck of a lot. You have a lot of younger players, but you also have a lot of older players as well. You've got players like Max Bird, who's 20 years old, Jason Knight, 20, Lewis Sibley, 19, Liam Thompson, 19, Hayden Roberts on loan, who's also 19, Lewis Dobbin on loan, who is 18 years of age. But then after that, you go up to Christian Balick, who is not at the club currently. That is a player that you can definitely sell, try and bring some finances into the club. He is 23 years old. Joe Wildsmith is 25, and then it kind of goes up from there all the way up to Curtis Davies, who's 36 years of age. Now, some players that you can definitely try and move on to try and, get the club financially stable somewhat. Unfortunately, they're all the youngsters. They are all the youngsters, but Louis Sibley has the most value within the side. Max Bird, second most value. Jason Knight, third most value. Now, definitely I would try and at least keep one of those three so that you can kind of have a player to build around. But if you are struggling even beyond the first, second season, you're definitely going to need to move these players on to help you financially at Darby County. Now, Darby County is definitely going to be one of the most challenging saves come FM23. That is why I've put it here at number 1, because it's not only one of the most challenging saves within England, but within the whole game in general. Now, one thing that is definitely going to help you is that you have excellent training facilities, excellent youth facilities. So training-wise, you're golden on development. But you also have good academy coaching and good youth recruitment. So you're going to get in players that you can develop a homegrown type club and try and get yourself back up to the Sky Bet Championship. Now, the players that you do have at your disposal early days are definitely going to be able to help you try and get back to the Sky Bet Championship. But financially speaking, you are going to be in for a rough time. So if you are a player that a manager that really likes to have a challenge on your hands, Darby County is the number 1 save to do this year. All right, so that wraps things up in today's top 10 list for top 10 saves to do in England. We are going to have some more top 10 saves to do coming up. The next one being in Germany, so keep your eyes out for that one. But if you guys happen to enjoy today's video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so why not hit that sub button? Let me know down in the comments below what saves from this list you guys are considering doing if you are managing in England. And even if they aren't on this list, let me know what saves you're going to do come time to manage England for yourselves. So yeah, without further ado, until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.